everybody. I'm Allison Black Cornelius, Chief Executive Officer of the Greater Birmingham Humane Society. Welcome to the 2021 GBHS Jazz Cat Ball, hosted by the Women's Auxiliary of the GBHS. Well, I know it's going to be a little different this year because we're not in our gowns and tuxedos and we're not dancing the night away and having fun with the casino. But what's really cool about this year is you can grab your favorite furry friends sitting in your office, sitting at home, in your PJs, and watch some really touching stories that are going to show you how your donations in 2020 made a big impact and changed a lot of animals' lives. And you've got plenty of time to grab a tissue or to watch these stories and just to feel good about how you made a difference. And a lot of times when we're at the ball, we don't have that much time, so that's a good thing. Let's sit back, watch these stories, and I'm going to turn it over to our really good friend, Sherry Falk, who has been such a good supporter to GBHS and who's a great volunteer to our shelter. Sherry, take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Sherry Falk with WVTM 13, and I am here with an amazing organization whose mission is very close to my heart. The Greater Birmingham Humane Society's life-saving efforts are a constant in our community. Despite an unprecedented year, the staff and volunteers have worked hard to push through unimaginable barriers and challenges to continue their work saving lives. Every year, the Greater Birmingham Humane Society hosts one of its most fabulous and fun fundraising events in our community, the Jazz Cat Ball. It's a night not only filled with glitz and glam, but a mission-critical fundraiser, bringing in a large portion of the organization's yearly budget. More than 65% of that money comes from you, our donors. This money allows the Greater Birmingham Humane Society to continue to serve thousands of homeless, abused, and neglected pets. This year is no different, and while we can't all be together, we are here to kick off the annual Jazz Cat Ball virtual event. And we're going to show you some of the amazing work that GBHS has done this year. You'll hear from some of our incredible sponsors and have many opportunities to offer your support. As COVID-19 numbers continued to rise, the state of Alabama, as you know, was put into lockdown, forcing the GBHS Adoption Center to close its doors. With staff furloughed and no one to care for the animals, all adoptable pets were placed into loving foster homes. More than 700 new foster volunteers were trained in 2020. Fosters provide a loving home, but many can't afford food and medicine, and your donations provide the supplies that make this life-saving program possible and are the reason that GBHS was able to safely place all of these animals when their doors could no longer remain open. Faced with this seemingly insurmountable challenge, GBHS pivoted and overnight was transformed into a regional pet pantry. In a time of crisis, the GBHS mission was at the forefront of sight, and a new way to serve the community was implemented. GBHS was able to serve almost 1,500 pet owners with food, medications, and supplies. And this would not have been possible without the continued support of GBHS donors. Your support helped 26 shelters in 12 Alabama counties feed the animals in their care. That's pretty amazing. You fed 6,948 pets in 26 days, and GBHS was honored to be able to serve the community in a new way.
Pet Pantry is a program of the Greater Birmingham Humane Society where people donate dog food, cat food, pet supplies, beds, you name it. And we use those products and supplies to support people who are about to have to give up their pet because maybe they've lost their job or they've been evicted. And what we do is we help them feed their pet or take care of their pet so they don't have to surrender their animal.
Typically our pet pantry program is pretty small. We feed folks once a month on Saturdays, but COVID-19 changed everything.
If you guys are just joining us, what we're doing is we're changing over our adoption center into a regional pet pantry, and we have about 40 pallets of food coming in off of a semi-truck right now.
When the Greater Birmingham Humane Society got the shutdown order and we turned into this regional COVID-19 pet pantry, we made that pet pantry huge. Every adoption room was just stacked high with pet food.
Watching the pantry go from a once a month pickup of about maybe 20 people to hundreds of people lining up at the bottom of the hill, it was incredible.
There were cars literally lined up the first day we were open all the way down Lakeshore, all the way down to the interstate, hundreds of cars.
We took care to be as safe as we could be. We were all gloved up. We asked the people to be masked up and to stay in their cars when they came in. Casey was down at the bottom of the hill to tell us what they needed. They would pull up, we would already have what they needed picked out. We'd put it in their trunk, we'd wish them a good day, and they would be off. And we did that all day. I mean, the first day we started at, I believe, 10 o'clock, and we didn't finish until around 3. We had people coming up, picking up for grandmothers and uncles and stuff like that. So many people would sit in here for 3 hours to get food for someone else's pet. We couldn't have done that without all the donors, all the people that devoted their time, their money, their attention.
To be able to, just load people up with food, so that's just something that they didn't have to worry about when there was so much to worry about. It's a really good feeling.
During the regional COVID pet pantry, we served almost 2,000 people, more than 5,500 pets, 20 plus shelters in probably 17 counties. It was a pretty remarkable effort. People stop me every day and they ask me what can they do to help the Greater Birmingham Humane Society. And everybody can do something, and if everybody did something, we'd be fine. You can make a donation of any amount is needed. You can donate blankets, newspaper, pet food. You can sponsor a pet, adopt a pet. You can have this much involvement, you can have that much involvement. We can take care of these animals and pet owners that need our help if everybody just does a little something.
So if you can, please help GBHS meet their goal. There are so many ways for you to give. You can click donate at any time on this screen. Visit the link below, bidpal.net/JCB2021, to participate in one of the largest silent auctions in the state, featuring jewelry and local restaurant packages, travel experiences, home goods, and much more. You can also register for the auction by texting JCB2021 to the number 243725. As you may remember, our coast was devastated by hurricanes early this year. One after another, Florida, Alabama, and Louisiana coastlines were obliterated by these storms. When a community is facing a hurricane, the local shelter needs to empty its kennels of adoptable animals. And again, thanks to donor support, GBHS was able to facilitate one of the largest life-saving transport programs in the Southeast. Donations enabled volunteers and staff to make more than 68 ground trips and 2 flights, saving 1,841 animals. That is 77,000 miles traveled to partner shelters in states with high demand for those adoptable animals, while providing relief to communities affected by these storms. In addition, donor support allowed GBHS to send multiple trucks full of food, supplies, and medicine to those shelters and communities that lost everything.
GBHS is always the shelter that goes in and says yes. We always say yes. We came into 2020 and our biggest fundraiser of the year is Jazz Cat Ball. And we had a record-breaking Jazz Cat Ball the first week of February. So we were happy, planning all kind of great things we were going to do to serve animals. And then a pandemic hits and we were closed down. So here we are. Okay, we're going to survive. We're going to do this pandemic thing and we're going to figure out how to keep GBHS in the community and serving people. And then we start getting hit by these hurricanes. And what happens is an animal shelter is already there and it's full of adoptable animals. A storm's coming. So that director needs to get those adoptable animals out of that shelter for 2 reasons. One, so that the staff can go take care of their own families once the storm hits. And then second, once the storm hits, you're going to have thousands of displaced animals, and if the shelter were full, there would be nowhere for these animals to be held so their owners can find them. So what we do is go in and get the adoptable animals out of the shelter where the storm's about to hit. We bring them up here and we do the adopting out of those animals. And then that enables that director to be able to start taking in all those lost animals. Just during the hurricanes, we responded over and over and over and over. 68 ground trips, that's going back and forth, getting animals or taking food or taking pet supplies. Airplane trips where Wings of Rescue flew animals in and we go to the airport and pick them up, or we take animals and load them up on an airplane to fly them out. Thousands of humans that needed pet supplies, more than 10 shelters in other states. It's like we've run 1,000 marathons, but we did it.
I'm Tricia Preston. I'm a member of the Greater Birmingham Humane Society Auxiliary. We're the fundraising branch for the shelter, and this fall we received a phone call that they needed help with some animals that were coming from the hurricane areas down in New Orleans. So the Wings of Rescue brought a couple of airplanes full of precious little homeless dogs and cats and brought them to the Bessemer Airport here in Birmingham, and we loaded the dogs off the airplane and took them out to the shelter to help them find their forever home from here. When you hear something like that going on, you just want to be a part of it, and it just never ceases to amaze me how much the Greater Birmingham Humane Society always says yes when they're asked to help out. I've never seen them say no to anything, because that's just what we're all about here. It was great to be a part of it.
I'm Bob Stafford. I drive these transports like the one you see behind me. We have anywhere from 20 to 35 dogs in there. When we do go down to help out at these pantries, it's usually about a 4-hour trip there and back. Unfortunately though, it does cost us a lot of money. It's approximately $500 for each trip. But we'll continue to do this as long as we keep getting donor support.
We put a lot of miles on these sprinters. They're expensive to be outfitted and geared up for what we use them for, about $50,000 to $60,000, sometimes $70,000. They'll last about 300,000 miles, which is maybe 2 or 3 years. We're lucky we have one of the largest fleets of those vehicles in the Southeast, and that's another reason why people call on us, is we have the capacity to respond. And we have that capacity because we have donors that support what we do. And I think we've demonstrated to donors that we're good stewards of their money, and that we take their money and we do incredible mission work with it. And I think that's why they continue to support us. People ask me why we always say yes. Why do we commit human and cash resources every single time when we're not even sure if we have them? It's important that GBHS demonstrates we are going to eliminate suffering and abandonment and isolation and loneliness. We are not going to tolerate having a community where that's okay, because we can eliminate it. There's something about doing that day in and day out that restores this community and makes us a better place to live and a more civil society, and gives us a feeling that we can make a difference in this world. And that's why we're going to keep on saying yes. And believing that somehow the money's going to get here and we're going to figure it out. And that's what we do, day in, day out, night in and night out. That's why we do it.
So if you can, please help GBHS meet their goal. There are so many ways that you can give. You can click donate at any time on the screen. Visit the link below, bidpal.net/JCB2021, to participate in one of the largest silent auctions in the state. It features jewelry, local restaurant packages, travel experiences, home goods, and much more. You can also register for this auction by texting JCB 2021 to the number 243-725.
I'm Robin Savage. I'm president and COO for Robbins & Morton. GBHS, it's always been a little bit near and dear to my heart. It's more than just a place to bring your dog or cat. It's a place of fair treatment and help for not only animals but for people as well. It helps people in that ones that can't take care of an animal anymore, it takes that stress off of them. It is a service to match up the right pets with the right people, which brings a lot of value to them. And I think just the fair treatment of people in working with them to make their lives better. Supporting GBHS is important because they serve such an important service to the community. You know, it's just a humane, good thing. It gives you a good feeling to be a part of something like that. The other thing about GBHS is the people that run GBHS. There are individuals there that care greatly about what they're doing. And you can walk in the place and you feel that. They are accommodating, open, friendly. You can tell that they take it to heart what their mission is and what they're doing. And the CEO, Allison, she brings a level of energy to that place. She is smart, she's caring, and she's tough when she needs to be. And I couldn't ask for a better leader. So in summary on that, I guess it's easy to support a place where the people care so much about what they're doing and it's such a good mission.
In April of 2020, a local Facebook video went viral. In the video, this dog roaming the streets of a Birmingham community. A strange-looking dog, a dog with no hair, wrinkly skin, an elephant dog it was called. People laughed and mocked him, even cheered for him to be killed. Eventually, GBHS was tagged in this post. Animal control officers were dispatched, and within 2 days, this severely neglected dog was found. He was brought to the Greater Birmingham Humane Society's critical care clinic with hopes that his life could be saved. He was starved and had a high heartworm level, mange so severe that he had no hair left at all, just scabs and hardened skin. He also had a broken pelvis and walked with a limp. But he also had a will to live, some fight still left in him, trust and love still in his heart. Despite everything he endured, this dog is Simon.
Man, that dog is the most loving dog I think I've ever had. You can really tell he's really grateful. Just the way he gets in my lap, he'll lay in my lap and he'll play and he'll open his mouth and try to, want to bite at you softly, It's just nuts to me, you're the best dog you've ever had could be sitting, sleeping under a tree or a bush somewhere in wherever part of the city trying to find a place to curl up and eating out of a trash can. But he's just the most loving, awesome dog, Just a really, really great dog.
Simon was brought to our attention at GBHS through Facebook.
A woman that lived in Inslee sees Simon crossing the street. She posts a video of it, and Simon's limping because he has a broken leg and a broken back. And she posts a paragraph making fun of him.
And it was a pretty bad situation. There were a lot of comments that mocking him because he was in such bad shape, but he looked weird, and he did look like he had elephant skin, and kids were afraid of him, and there were reports that people were throwing rocks at him and stuff because they thought maybe he was harboring diseases or something. They didn't know. He looked weird.
And it went viral. And at one point, someone posted a reward to the first person that would shoot Simon. And once that got posted, I got involved and sent a private message to the gentleman that posted the reward for killing Simon, and I doubled the amount and told him if he would make sure Simon could get to him safely, I would pay him twice what he was offering for Simon to be killed. Luckily, we had the resources to go in and offer that reward and save him, and then ultimately to provide a care for him.
I'm one of the officers that was actually able to capture Simon along with my supervisor, Chris. And we knew that Simon was probably going to be, a little hesitant. He's probably never had any kind of human interaction or anything like that. So, but we were able to get the catch pole on him. Once he calmed down, we were able to get him on the truck. And then Chris, I think, was able to transport him over to our clinic in Hoover.
They called me and said, I just don't think this dog is going to live long enough. We don't think the dog's even going to make it to the GBHS hospital.
Like, hey, they found the dog. We had just sort of been keeping up with the story on Facebook. So I went down to our critical care clinic in Hoover, and he was in really bad shape. I just had never seen anything like it. He just looked so broken. He was scabby, he was bleeding by the time I got there. He had a hip fracture, so he could barely walk. He pulled his back leg up into a full curl, level 4 heartworms, and then obviously his skin condition. Now when you see him, he's grown some hair, but he really just did not have a single shred of hair on his body. His skin was just covered in scabs. It was hard. It was, it was tough to see.
We took Simon to a specialist here in Birmingham, and they diagnosed all of his problems. He had several broken bones, serious broken bones that would require plates and knee replacements. All in all, the quote would be about $30,000. So once we got past that sticker shock, we just made the commitment to giving Simon a second chance. And luckily, the community had given enough money to provide that care.
And then by June of 2020, he was ready to go into foster. So he came home with us. We were kind of waiting for that day. I knew from the start that I'd want to bring him home. And so yeah, he came home about mid-June to our house.
I think I immediately was like, bring that dog home. I want to feed that dog. And I fell in love with Simon immediately. I mean, it was, within a day, I knew that was just the sweetest dog I'd really ever known.
I mean, it has honestly been wonderful and just not quite what I thought because of his situation and because it was so extreme. We have other rescues, and my husband and I have been rescuing dogs for years, and I really thought it was going to be this slow process and just being super patient, and I just wasn't really sure how warm he would feel in this new house, and we do have other pets, we do have a daughter, and I was just really anticipating going slow and it taking several months for him to acclimate. And that just really wasn't the case at all. I mean, he came in the first night we had him here, but we fed him dinner with the other dogs, and he ate his bowl in about 20 seconds, and then he picked up the bowl and brought it to me because he wasn't done. He needed some more. And it was just so funny, and that was just the first time I really got this glimpse of that personality that was still in there, even though he had been through so much and he still looked so bad. But he just acclimated so quickly to our life here and to the family. I mean, he plays with the other dogs. He is the most affectionate animal I've ever had, I really do think, in my life.
It's something special for any human being to witness a miracle happen, if you want to call it that, or whatever, but to see an animal come from the worst shape you could possibly imagine to now running around the house, chasing the cat and playing with Ava and just jumping up on me and licking my face, just licking the crazy, to see a dog come from that to that is special for everybody, I mean, it'll you'll cry. I mean, you'll just see it. It just makes you so happy,
Stories like Simon, he's really caught the attention of so many people, not in our town, but really all over the country. But sadly, these stories happen all the time. There's a million dogs like Simon out there that need help, and that's when our donations are so important, because we can't provide that help, we cannot provide that care without the support of all of our donors, and they really make that possible. And Simon's story, as sad as it is and was also one of so much hope, because we saw so many people band together to help him and to donate to GBHS and to donate to his cause, which has been why we are able to get the care and to get him the help that he needs.
We rely almost 100% on individual donations, and most of the donations that come through our door are written on a check in scrawled handwriting, and it's $10 or $5. It takes a lot of that to get to $5 million. And it costs about $5 million to run these 3 locations every year and to serve 18,000 animals.
And that's just why people, we need your support now more than ever. That is why our donors are so important to us, and we couldn't do it without them.
Thank you so much for joining us today with our Jazz Cat Ball 2020 virtual event. We appreciate so much the donations you made in 2020. Those donations allowed us to promote the humane treatment of animals and humans the entire year. But the needs are still great, and we don't need to stop now. Think about this. Simon is still in need of help, and further surgeries. His needs are ongoing, and here's the bad news. We see animals like Simon every single week. And as far as Pet Pantry, another thing that your donations helped us with, we are still going to have people that find themselves unemployed, chronically ill, homebound, and they don't need to be losing their pets just because of something they had absolutely no control over. And because of your donations, we're able to make sure they have pet food and pet supplies and vet care. And sadly, more than likely in 2021, we're gonna have hurricanes and we're gonna have fires and we're gonna have natural disasters. And we have one of the largest fleets in the Southeast because of y'all, and we are able to drive and go get those animals out of harm's way. And we need to keep that momentum going because we've been able to save thousands of lives, you and GBHS together. So even though we weren't able to be together like we normally are at Jazz Cat Ball, we didn't get to see each other in our gowns and our tuxedos and do all the fun party stuff, we can still show these animals that we're not going to abandon them. We're going to be right there for them. And more importantly, you can still click a button right here below and you can get your dinner party package for Mardi Gras, have it in your home safely. You can do the silent auction and you can still enter for your chance to win $25,000. And I promise you, I cannot wait to see you in 2022 at the Jazz Cat Ball, and we're all going to celebrate being together, celebrating the animals' lives that we will inevitably save, and giving us the opportunity once again to tell you how much we love you and how grateful we are to you for helping support the homeless, abused, and abandoned and neglected animals in our community. Thank you so much, and I'll see you at Jazz Cat Ball 2022. Thank you.